dentistry, we have to learn about anatomy, you know, bone structure, amount of bones in the face, and all that kind of stuff. So you can be able to function correctly when you are doing the clients. And this chapter is very important because sometimes you have to kind of be a little loyal to your client, a little extra, because when you're doing hair, you have different textures. And what I mean by different textures, where is my opinion at? You're gonna be dealing with different textures, right? What are textures of the hair?
Straight, curly,
Coarse, different types of hair.
That means that if you know whether it's coarse, fine, medium, you'll know how to treat it, right? Even when you're cutting, you'll know how to cut that person's hair if you know that type of texture because of the density. That's all considered the density of the hair too. What is density?
The amount of hair in like a certain like square inch.
Yes, that's correct. Because depending on how dense their hair is, it's gonna depend on how much product you use. Even when it comes down to the chemical services, you must learn the texture of the hair. Even with color, you must know the texture of the hair so you know the amount to put on the hair. Now, in later instances, you will realize that when you use more product, what you need to do?
Charge more.
Charge more. So you need to pay attention to the amount of product you're gonna use on your client in order to be efficient with your product, because you're gonna have to take inventory. Everybody know what inventory is, right?
yes, sir.
Also, by giving chemical services, that can give you a little break from cutting all day. You know, you like cutting, you love it, but it's always good to have something extra to do so you won't get overwhelmed and bored at times. Or you can do multiple services in one day. So why do you think barbers should learn chemical services?
Gives you another skill. Gives you another way to make more money.
Money.
Bring more money in the pocket, right? And what's the other reason?
You will get more clients. More people want to go see.
And you also could have clientele that you're already working with, and you can upscale them. Like, okay, I think your hair need a little texture to it. They may have fine hair, and they may need a little bit more volume. By giving them a chemical service with ammonium thioglycolate. Anybody know what that is?
Yes. Okay.
That is a perm where you put, it's the actual odorless. The egg smell that you smell in a perm, that's what that is. It's the acting agent to break down the sulfide bonds. Everybody know what the sulfide bonds are?
Yeah.
Ain't they like added in chemicals to
The sulfide bonds is your hair, right? Everyone take one of these. You're gonna need it. This is like a strand of hair. Could you pass it back? The sulfide bonds is basically the bonds that holds the hair together, that gives it its strength. And it can be interrupted temporarily without an actual chemical change. Like say for instance, with the curling iron, you have a client and they want their hair curled and they don't have any chemical in their hair at all. When you curl that hair with the curling iron, what kind of change is that? It's a physical change, right? It's a physical change, but it's only temporarily, like a roller set. So when you do an actual chemical relaxer, or you're doing like a permanent wave, you are doing a what kind of change? There's a physical change and there's a chemical change. So when you're doing that change, you are changing the disulfide bonds. Where is the disulfide bonds? What is the layering of the hair? You have the outer layer, which is the what?
Cuticle.
Cuticle. What's the inner layer?
Cortex.
Cortex. And the innermost layer? The medulla.
Medulla.
When you're doing a chemical change, you are going through these different layers and you are ruffling up the hair shaft. When you wet the hair with water and you just basically curling the hair and you're not disturbing it chemically, it's gonna go revert back. Okay? Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
All right. Chemical services help to change the structure of the hair, the curl pattern, and smooth the cuticle. Now, what do you do when you do your consultation when you're doing a chemical service? What's the first thing you need to do?
You ask for any allergic reactions?
That's more likely within a patch test. That's when you, how you do a patch test.
You pass out like a form to the client, right? Like a paper form so they can.
That's a release statement.
You section a small part of the hair.
The patch test is when you take some and you put it on behind the
on the
skin
skin.
to see if they have allergic reaction.
They say you put it
That's
on-
even with color, huh?
How they say you put it on the arm, so we test.
You can do it on the arm as well. You can do it in the crease of the arm. But if you feel like a person, once you have your consultation and you look at their hair and they share with you that they have some type of medical conditions, you might need to go to the extra length of making sure you check and see if they're allergic to your particular product. Okay? Now, on the hydroxide side, the relaxer, some people with the permanent wave. Why do you think? Oh, I'm gonna get a perm. No. Relaxer is when you relax the hair. You're relaxing coily hair to a straight state. When you do a permanent wave, you are doing what?
Heads, waves.
Usually you're turning straight hair into curly hair. When you are doing like wave nouveau, jerry curls, you are going to straighten the hair, then you're gonna rinse the hair. You're not gonna neutralize it because when you neutralize it, you're messing with the pH. What is the pH?
Regular acidity.
You have, what is the acidity of normal hair? What's the level?
4.5?
Yes. Now, you need to notate that. There may be a question on your test because you need to know the acidity of the hair. Now, when you're dealing with a ammonium thioglycolate, which is the permanent wave, what pH does that usually be? Because it's not as strong as the hydroxide relaxer.
You said I'm going back to another word. You said the acidity,
Yes.
that's
That's the pH.
Okay.
Do you know? If you're going from normal to 14, usually relaxers go all the way to between 12 to 14. That's very high. That means that the hair shaft is gonna be blown out of proportion, right? It's gonna be very porous. And whatever you put on that hair is gonna soak it up. So when you're doing a client, you need to make sure that their hair can be accessible to that particular product. When you're talking about relaxers, you are rearranging the structure of the hair from curly to straight or smooth. The most commonly used relaxers are the hydroxide relaxer. The actual hair strand is made of protein and keratin and contains hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds. This determines the texture of the hair. It's very important you look at the texture of the hair if that hair is able to take that particular chemical. Don't go in thinking, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and make this money. Don't do that. Consultation is very important because you gotta analyze the scalp, making sure they don't have any abrasions, because hydroxide is very strong and it will cause a chemical burn. Also, with relaxers, that person cannot shampoo their hair before that previous service. Why?
Takes away all the oils in the hair.
Why?
Total protection for your scalp.
The reason why you can't shampoo your hair before a relaxer is because it will make their skin pores wide open and it will result in a burn.
Mm-hmm.
Never shampoo the hair before a relaxer. Also, do not brush the scalp. When you are putting on the relaxer, you do not need to irritate the scalp at all. If you irritate the scalp, it's going to result in a chemical burn. Yes.
It'll make it fall out bad too. My niece had got hers done, and my I guess her older sister had washed it first because she knew she was gonna get her hair done. She didn't know what, and they put the perm in, and all the baby hair fell out. What it was a relax. It was a relaxer because they was trying to straighten, so you right, it was a relaxer. But her hair was naturally curly, and like all this side of her hair came out bad, and it was like a little rash, like that.
Yeah, it'll crust over like a sore.
It made it look like eczema almost on her scalp.
It'll crust over like a sore. It'll really hurt. You know they have a action lawsuit out about chemical relaxers.
Yeah.
Because of the burns that they created back in the day, and it caused some people to have cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have a transaction act out on that for certain chemicals that was used previously back in the day. That's why you have to pay attention to the actual person that's in your chair. Everybody's hair is not the same. So you gotta really analyze it and make sure you can put that chemical on that person's hair.
Question.
Now, yes,
Hydroxide ammonium
these are two separate.
That's
That's the permanent way.
That's what I was gonna ask.
This is for the sodium hydroxide, the relaxer. There are different relaxers.
I got a question, cause this is a debate like amongst the family coming up.
Okay.
Is it with little girls, like young girls, probably from the age 5, 6 or whatever, they got a lot of hair that stick. Is it good to relax it or do a permanent way of perm?
You're dealing with a coarser texture of hair.
And
The ammonium thioglycolate, that's a totally different chemical.
Yeah.
And you cannot go from ammonium or a permanent wave to a relaxer or back, or they're both are not compatible. You have to completely cut the hair off the head and start all over. That's why you see people who have a big chop, because they have to cut it all off and start.
Cause it don't take right.
No.
Or, yeah, that,
It's not gonna take right.
So let's
You have to do the chemical that's fit for that texture of hair.
yeah.
Now, if she's naturally curly and you want to make the hair more manageable,
Yeah,
that's when you go into the keratin.
the keratin. That's what I think it was. But nah, it's a lot of.
This is
People
one of
struggle with it.
one of the treatments, that temporary treatments. Like you have the Brazilian blowout.
Yeah.
You have different types, but this is one of the classes that I took that was popular at the time,
Yeah.
called the Chi Enviro. And what it does, it goes in and it rearranges the curl, but you don't lose your natural curl. But it rearranges it, make it more pliable so you can do different styles. That's the reason why they want you to learn about the chemical services. If you know a little bit about it, even if you don't do it at this point in time, if you're not interested, it's good to have the knowledge so in, later on you may strike an interest in it, and then at least you'll know a little bit something about it.
I'm asking because I got a daughter and I'm curious what I have.
Mhm.
The permanent wave and the keratin instead of the relaxer.
Mhm.
And
What texture is her hair?
it's like curly but coarse at the same time. Like it's like
soft?
it's thick but it's curly.
Is it soft?
Yeah, it's soft, but at the same time, like sometimes it don't be hard to comb through, but she'll be crying, even though her hair don't be like as
So
natural to
you
comb.
need something to relax her natural curl, but not straighten.
To make it more manageable, like
That would be the keratin, but the catch to the keratin treatments, they have what you call formaldehyde in it.
What's that?
Formaldehyde is something that the client or you shouldn't be consuming, but it's within the product, just like the sodium hydroxide. That's some very strong potency of product. Now, with barbers in the industry, most of us use like no-lie relaxers.
Yeah.
But the most popular one is the sodium hydroxide.
So,
And when you apply it, you can literally, if you don't have great ventilation where you're working, you will literally pass out from it. It smells
fun.
that bad, yes.
That's crazy.
So you have to be real careful. And also, when you're doing treatments like that, you have to do extra training for it. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna go buy it and do it.
Yeah.
You need to get training. On anything that you do using a product, I would suggest take the class so you can know definitely how to use a particular product that you're interested in. Any questions? Anything on the pH scale below 7 is considered neutral. 7 is neutral, anything below is considered natural. Anything 8 and above, like hydroxide, which is usually used for coarse hair, it usually is above the scale, then that means that it's very strong. The hair in its natural state is 4.5 to 5.5 acidity. It prevents fungus and bacteria thriving in the hair and scalp. And the cuticle is closed and the hair is healthy. That means that the hair has low porosity. What does it mean when it has high porosity? That means that that hair is very damaged. That means whatever you put on that hair is gonna absorb it. If anybody don't know what porosity is, which is very important, like the texture, it is the amount of what?
I was right.
What is porosity?
How easily it absorbs. wetting the hair?
Man, I can't spell today. It's the amount that hair can absorb. If the hair is real porous, whatever you're gonna put on it is gonna grab it. So that's why it's very important that you do a good consultation. How do you do the test for the elasticity of the hair?
You grab one piece of hair and you like pull it and you see if it like goes down. Like if it stretches, it goes back to its
You're
normal
checking
form.
for the elasticity, that's what that is, of the hair. If it's stretched back. Do you do it in one section of the head or all over?
Just one
It's
second.
just one section.
What if, you know, your hair is not the same all over your head, right?
Different textures.
You can have different textures on,
Take a few strands of damp hair, hold it between your thumb and forefinger. Slowly stretch the strands. The more they can stretch without breaking, the more elasticity the hair has.
that means it can take more. If it breaks, if you just literally comb a person's hair and it's just hair falling, just don't try to put any type of chemical on it. That even includes color.
That's dangerous.
Because what's gonna happen if you do that?
It's just gonna fall off the floor.
I'm gonna tell you
And
about
then about
this.
a TikTok.
I'm gonna tell you about this little incident that happened. This is while I was in school. It was a guy. He came in and he wanted what you call a wave nouveau. Which permanent wave is that?
Relax.
No,
And a permanent, that's a, that's a
no,
volume
that's
tight
not a
glycerate.
relaxer.
So his curl was something like that.
Ammonium
Which?
triglycerate.
Well, it is, but it's a Theo. Yeah, you're right. But how do you think we went about to achieve what he wanted? How you think you do a wave nouveau? If it's in the sense of ammonium diglipate. You're gonna straighten the hair first. Basically, with wave nouveau and carefree curls, you are straightening it first like you do a relaxer. But you don't neutralize it before you put the actual rollers in like you do a permanent wave. Because the person already has curl, what you're doing is making it more manageable and you're putting it back in. You're putting curls back in to make it look natural. The permanent wave, with it, you're gonna roll the hair. First, you're gonna shampoo it. You're gonna use a clarifying shampoo. You need to be right. This. On a permanent wave, you're gonna do your consultation, right? Awesome. God, I can't spell today. You're gonna do your consultation. That's when you're gonna see whether or not the hair is strong enough to get this particular service. Well, they got any, now with a permanent wave, they can't have any abrasions on their scalp as well. Okay? Also, when you are picking out your, whether it's sodium hydroxide or permanent wave, once you have the consultation, you need to look for whether they got color on there. They're gonna tell you, oh no, I don't have any color on here, they have a complete demarcation line on it. Demarcation line is when they have previously chemically done their hair, even with the chemical relaxer, same thing. You're gonna see where the new hair grows and where it stops. That's gonna be your line of demarcation. Now, when you apply with the sodium hydroxide, which is a relaxer, you only, if it's a retouch, you only do the new growth. You do not go past the demarcation line, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna overprocess. You do not want that. It will create breakage. When you're doing the permanent wave, when you have your consultation, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure the hair is in porous, make sure it's intact. And you also need to look on your box when you are purchasing. You need to look on your box, and if they got color, they will have it listed on the box whether or not it's for color protection or not. You must pay attention to what you're picking up for your client. Because if it's too strong, what's gonna happen?
Burn.
It's gonna burn your hair off. If you're doing a relaxer and a person has coarse, thick hair, when you go get their relaxer, you're gonna get a coarse strand relaxer. You also have, I spell consultation wrong. Let me erase that on the barrier.
I ain't seen you yet.
I apologize, but you got the gist of it, right? Make sure you look at the strength of the permanent wave or the relaxer, depending on your particular client. Now, you do have relaxer that you have to mix, and that is for sensitive scalp. You also have relaxers that are already mixed, that you just pick up and apply it to the client's hair. Now, if you got a person that's real sensitive, you must pre-base their hairline on top of the ear, behind the ear, and across the nape. You need to protect the client, protect their skin. Now, if they're extra sensitive, you need to, when you section the hair in 4 sections, you need to part it off.
Put it directly on the scalp.
And put your pre-base. And when you slice, you need to make sure you put it on the scalp. Now, some relaxers already have base in them. But then again, some people are more sensitive. You still may have to pre-base them if they're real sensitive. But usually when it's already got base within the relaxer, all you have to do is go from ear to ear in the front, across the forehead, behind the ear, down to the earlobe. Don't, because that's where it traps most of the time, especially if they got long hair. So make sure you base them real good to protect their skin, because it will cause a chemical burn. And especially if they scratched in their face. Now, when you're doing a permanent wave, with it, when you roll it, you pick out the size roller you want to put in there. Now, you also can do a permanent wave with flexi rods. You're not prone to just use these. It really depends on how long their hair is. Now, I know you guys don't know too much about this. It's called the piggyback. When the hair is really long, you use 2 rollers on 1 strand of hair.
How'd that work?
Just like you roll in the perm, the extra hair that's length, you roll another roller. If you have to roll another, roll another one.
They teach that in God.
What's the longest perm ever?
Huh?
Longest perm ever.
Well, that depends on the person's length of their hair. You know they wearing it long now, so. But I will use, me personally, I will use flexi rod.
The thick one?
Yeah,
What that mean? Oh, okay.
not these. Depending on what curl pattern you want. Now, when we're talking about the permanent wave, the amount of curl is determined by the size of the rod. Not if you make this tighter, no. What you're gonna do, if you twist it around, how you've seen people do this, all you're doing is creating breakage when you do that. You should always have the rubber part on top, and you also, if you can, use plastic stems to keep this away from the hair itself. Now, some people, according to how they wear their hair, you can either roll it forward right here. If they like wear side bangs and things of that nature, you can roll it forward to stop breakage from the edge of their hairline. But it's typically rolled in a basic roll. Also, you need to make sure when you use your end papers, you need to determine, are you gonna do a book end, which is like a book, like so. Usually when I used to do these, it's like when a person got really short hair, usually. If they have long hair, most of the time, for safety precautions, because when you're rolling the hair, it depends on how thick the hair is, and you need to make sure you measure it by the diameter of the roller. So when you slice it, you have the appropriate amount of hair. When you get ready to put your pieces on, I usually use 2 pieces to protect the hair, because if I do it like this, right, on this long piece of hair, do you think it's gonna cover it all? But if I take one and I go above and below, don't you think that'll protect the hair better?
Mm.
And sometimes end papers can help you for when you got people who got different lengths in the hair and it's uneven. Your end papers, if you take it and fold it like a book end on the end and then make one below, it'll extend the hair so you can evenly roll it. Because when you roll this on the roller, it must be where you tuck all of the hair in, all the way to the end. Now this particular rolling is what you call at a 9-degree, right? You gotta make sure all of the hair is on the end papers. The reason being, if any hair dispersed on this rod, the little grooves on the sides, it's gonna make it snag and it's gonna create breakage in order to protect the client's hair. You must use even tension all the way down to the scalp. When you clamp it on top. Make sure it's even. It does not have to be like this. Why?
Breakage.
You're gonna create breakage, because remember, you're breaking down into sulfite bonds. Whatever roller you put in that hair is set. Once you put the solution on, you're gonna make sure that your band is on top. And you also, if you need to make sure it's not touching the hair. If so, you will have to put some plastic stems underneath to keep it up off the hair. Some people use coffee straws or something like that to prevent breakage. Also, once you roll the hair and you apply your solution, some permanent waves you have to do a mix. It depends on which one you choose. Some is already pre-mixed. All you have to do is open the bottle and go above and below the base saturated. Because the hair is on top of one another. And you gotta make sure, especially when it's thick, you gotta make sure it's completely saturated all the way down to the rod. Because when you get ready to do your neutralizer, what does that do?
It activates the
Neutralizer brings that pH back, brings the hair back to normal. When you're doing a relaxer, once you relax the hair, you're gonna use with the relaxer, depending on the person, when you relax it, which page is that on in your book?
Multiple.
You gotta make sure you have gloves. Right? Why you think you put on gloves?
You want to use your hands? Some people hands are.
You know,
So
it's a
too.
lot of people who do chemical services and don't put on these gloves. And you know it causes a neuropathy problem if you don't consistently put on gloves while you handle
Like
chemicals.
nerve.
Yes, you have nerve damage.
that's an achievement.
Huh?
I was like, that's an achievement.
Now, when you're doing, I'm turn it so you can see. When you're doing a relaxer, if it's a virgin relaxer, you're gonna slice the hair. You're gonna go 1/4 inch from the scalp, mid shaft. And you always start with the brush. Why? Why do you think I use a brush first?
Cause
What are you mocking?
precise.
It gets out through the hair,
So
right?
precise gets you to mark.
Now, when you go 1/4 inch to mid shaft, when you're doing a virgin relaxer, the scalp is where you got most of the heat.
And you cut clients.
Start. What's wrong?
Oh, I have a question.
What?
What are you mocking to put on the hair? Like what?
What I'm using?
Yeah.
I'm using conditioner.
But like what are you? What is it?
The relaxer.
Okay.
I said chemical relaxer.
I know. I was just I didn't know whether that was like perm or like. I just missed that part, and you're making.
Nah, see you.
Pay attention.
I'm trying to confirm. I mean, verify too. You saying it's?
This
For
is a
the-
relaxer.
I'm saying you put the conditioner on it before you do the relaxer.
No, this is just mocking with the conditioner to show you how
Oh,
to
okay.
perform the service.
I'm thinking saying something different right now. I'm like, okay.
No, I'm not using extra relaxer on this mannequin.
Nah, I'm not saying you were. I was
It
just
starts
saying.
smelling funny real quick.
Yeah, nah, I was.
No, this is just conditioner.
Yeah, conditioner.
To show you where to put, because when you go to state board, you're gonna mock.
Yeah.
So you gotta know exactly, but you're not gonna, I don't think you do virgin relax, you do a retouch.
Retouch.
So when you do a retouch, you're just gonna do 1/4 inch of the scalp and go through the section.
But you never actually touch the scalp, right?
No, until well, you know the body heat eventually is gonna make the relaxer go to the scalp.
Yeah.
Eventually. But if it has base in it, it's still gonna be protected. You're gonna ask the client whether or not they're burning or not.
And you usually leave like about an inch from the scalp when you start applying it.
1/4 inch from the scalp, depending on how much new growth they have. Everything have gray areas. You know, everybody's scalp.
Varies.
Yeah, because everybody change on when they want to come get their hair, so you have to adjust.
Shh. Thank you.
Special needs.
Excuse me.
Put them on short notice.
Everybody got the application for a relaxer? Now, when you're doing the permanent wave, after you completely roll the head and you apply the solution above and below,
Jesus, man. Come on. Seriously?
when you apply the solution above and below, you're gonna put the cotton, you're gonna make sure you put the protective cream around and behind the ear and across the nape, and then you're gonna apply this
Whoa. Cloud.
around the head.
Whoa.
This keeps the solution from draining into their eyes and into their face. Remember, you gotta always protect the client. Once you put that around their head, however much you need for that particular person, right?
Faded blind. They've never seen me.
You put the shower cap on to this.
He said shower cap.
Plastic shower cap.
Oh, Lord. You put the cap on. After you put the solution on, you must read your manufacturer directions before you start this. Why? Because every product is different. So it's very essential that you read your manufacturer's instructions before you do anything that you do. Right?
Absolute cinema.
Tell you the amount of time. That's very essential. And what else?
How much to use?
Application process? No, I don't know.
Is it a picture?
What could go wrong?
It has to have the SDS.
It tells you
Gonna
if
say
you're
no
done.
data sheet. Tells you if you're killing me.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh my goodness.
All the warning labels.
No, seriously. You must read your instructions on the application, the processing time, because you don't want to over process someone's hair. Every permanent wave is different. Every relaxer is different. Now, also when you're doing the relaxer, we're off the permanent wave, we're going to the relaxer. Once you do your application of your relaxer at the new growth, what's the next step? When you use your brush, you're gonna go back and you're gonna use your comb. Why?
This drew me too far.
Let's take, she's out of the permanent zone right now. The reason for the back of the comb is to make sure of the straightness of the hair.
Wow.
So you're gonna apply pressure. When you're doing a relaxer, you need to go above and below for your straightness. Please just get it 85 to 90% straight. Don't take all the integrity out of the hair. Don't do this. No. What that'll do?
Take off all the product.
No, it will over process that person's hair. Because if they, now remember, chemical services, once you do a permanent wave or a relaxer, once that is in the sulfide buns, it's there until you cut it off.
I have a question, bro.
Yes.
Gosh.
So after you do either one, you can't do the other one. To
No,
try and
they're
counteract.
not compatible. They have two different,
Apply both of them at the same time.
What?
what did you just say? Apply
I was
both of
saying
them.
that's what he said. Oh, what you trying to frame me from?
Bro, what if
Just apply
you're
both
so
of
bad,
them,
bro?
Huh?
Just apply both of them.
No. Okay, thank you.
These two are not compatible at all. I'm just doing both of them at the same time so you can know the difference. You're straightening here, you're putting curl here.
I think that'd be a good look though, like one side curly and one side straight.
That's my reaction.
Only from
That's my
you.
reaction too. That's my reaction too.
We're playing back.
It's alternative.
Two-face.
I think it'll look awesome. Or like a straight front and curly back.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Now, when you're doing chemical relaxers, remember the pH scale?
We mess up your perm, so we have to go buds.
Take one pass back.
You can go ball, bro.
Your neutralizer, it brings the pH balance back. That means it brings the hair back to its natural state.
Dude, wait your teeth.
Now, when you're rinsing a chemical service, you need to rinse at least 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how thick the hair is.
Is it a neutralizer just for permanent wave or for both?
Both have neutralizer.
Okay. There-
Now,
different
usually with the
types of-
permanent wave, it's gonna be in the box. With the relaxer, usually you have to buy that separately. The neutralizer with the relaxer usually have a color code to it, which means when you do a relaxer and you get ready to rinse the hair, you need to rinse it thoroughly. That's starting the neutralizing process. Once you rinse it thoroughly for at least 5 minutes, you take your neutralizer shampoo, it looks like a shampoo. You emulsify it in your hands and you disperse it throughout the hair. Now, when you are doing, whether it's the relaxer or the permanent wave, you do not need to have the water hot. Why? Oh my.
Mm.
Cover your mouth.
My apologies. I'm just taking.
You have to make sure the water is not too hot because you're doing a chemical.
You know, overprocess and burn.
Well, you know, especially with a relaxer, if they already burning and you put hot water on their hair, it's gonna make it irritated even more. So you kind of want it in the neutral zone, lukewarm, a little bit cool. You're doing the permanent wave, the water should not be strong, the pressure, because you're rinsing out the solution. Once you put the neutralizer on the permanent wave, you're gonna let it sit with the cap on. You change this out. You're gonna change your cotton 'cause it's gonna be soaked by the time you get ready for your neutralizer to set it in place. That is what's gonna make it form its curl on the rod. Relaxers are much easier than the permanent wave, but the permanent wave is really nice if you know what you're doing with it. If you know, like if it's your hair, how long it is, I would more than likely use flexi rods on you.
Flexi rods are the funky ones.
That they bend usually.
Oh, yeah, we were looking
It's
at
in the
it. We're like,
book.
what the heck is that?
It's in your book.
What is that? Flexi rod. Kind of like a Pokemon.
Like a poke.
That one?
Yes.
Yeah, those are interesting.
Because I mean, if you got long hair, using those is you're gonna be all day.
How do you do that? Your technique for that's gotta be crazy.
It's more spirally.
What about these? The short ones?
You just wrap it around like you do a roller.
Wow. What's the point of it being short?
So that you can put all the solution on the hair. That's the whole point. Because you gotta make sure it's completely saturated in order for it to process. If it's not saturated correctly, you're gonna get under processing. What does that mean?
It means it don't look like you
That's
want it to.
no. It means when you put that product on and you didn't put it on properly, it's not gonna have a curl. It's gonna be limp. Same as for relaxer. If you don't use the back of the comb to straighten it and check it, then it's gonna be not straight. Once you go to rinse it out it's gonna still be the same curl definition, and you don't want that. Same with the permanent wave. If you don't saturate it correctly, you're not gonna get a good end result. And I don't think you wanna spend all your time rolling that person's hair and it's unprocessed. And then that's time. And time is what?
Money.
So whatever you do, whether it's chemical services, whether it's relaxer or rolling a perm, make sure you do it efficiently. Now some people get a permanent wave and they just get the top portion of their hair. They may shave the sides and the back and the fullness on the top. It depends on the individual. Most of the time people do a permanent wave, they usually do it in the way in which they wear their hair. These are examples in the book of different techniques that you could use for the basic. In the book is basic. When you get out in the field, it's a totally different ball. Okay? You deal with what you get, you improvise.
Is there perm classes out there?
Probably.
Yeah, your instructions on your box. This is the class now.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like to learn about in the
He's
other
trying to say
ball-
that he's not learning right now. Is what he's trying
No,
to
I'm,
say.
what I'm trying to say is that you said there's more to it and when you get into the field.
I'm talking about when you have an individual person and their hair is different. It may be too short. It may be too long. You're gonna have to improvise with whatever you do, just like you improvise when you're cutting, right? Don't you? There's always a gray area, even when you color. You may have somebody get a color and it may be brassy. So you're gonna have to think in your head, you're gonna think back to this textbook and fix it.
I'll never forget you, John Percy, barber school. Nothing.
You're never gonna use that book at the barber school.
No. I
Yeah,
said
what
I
you
would
said.
never forget. I would never forget John Percy barber school.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Best barber school in the area.
Yeah.
I fully believe that. I fully believe
Wait,
that.
wait.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah, I'm not leaving it up here no more. Never mind.
Thank you.
Any questions so far?
She lied. I saw her thinking.
No more questions. What precautions do you need to make when you're doing either one of these chemical services?
Consultation.
God.
What precautions you need to have when you are doing either one
Protecting
of
the
these
client.
chemical services?
Protecting the client.
You need to make sure they don't do what to their scalp.
Wash.
Before.
Or irritate the scalp in any way.
If they got any type of scalp dysfunctions, you need to not do the service.
Refuse. No lesions.
No abrasions. No no.
Go ahead, bro. You got it. Think about it.
No what?
Vacuums.
Okay. Just gotta find out something.
For those of you who don't know what ammonium thioglycolate is a compound active ingredient that is a reducing agent.
Yep, that's a good one.
Right here.
Viscosity is the measurement of liquids of the thickness and thinners used in the permanent wave. Make sure you saturate, basically. Formaldehyde are producing agents within the keratin. Brazilian treatments. It eliminates 90% of curl. And it makes it silky, smooth, and shiny. This is only temporary. It usually lasts. It really depends on the person, on how much they shampoo their hair, on how long it lasts. It usually be about 3 months. What is OSHA?
Oh, something that construction workers don't like.
Wow.
Oh, dude, wow.
Hold on 1 second. It's
What does it stand for,
someone
bro?
at the door with a package for you.
Okay.
Amazon.
Go get him, Mr.
I need to
Rose.
sign for it.
Amazon.
You got time for it, that's over.
Here, go get him.
You got it, Mr. Ross.
Try to find the right answer. So what is the definition of OSHA, please? It's in the book. Book is your friend.
It's in chapter.
EPA and OSHA is your friend. You better learn it. If you're gonna have products in your workspace, barber space, and you don't know what OSHA is and EPA is, you're gonna have a hard time. It's in the chapter. It's in permanent wage chapter, chemical service chapter. It's in there.
Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970.
Do you not know that would be a main question you have on your test that you missed?
To regulate and enforce safety and health standards to protect employees in the workplace.
You might want to write that down if you can't remember it. What is EPA?
Environmental Protection Agency.
And why is that important?
So that we don't put products in our environment that is harmful to the ecosystem. Or
Tired, these guys. What's it called? Improvise.
Why is it important? Why is EPA important?
Because it tells you.
Let me ask you this question. If you have a kid sitting in your chair, right?
oh, it registers all types of disinfectants.
Hold on one second. If you have a child come sit in your chair, right? And you know barbershops may have kids running around. And you may have a stand full of products. And one of them kids go there and inhale all your product down their throat. What you gonna do?
If you don't got a label to know what it is, you don't know what they want.
Call an ambulance.
You gotta do something for that.
Should have read the SDS beforehand.
Didn't I tell you don't know the answer?
Well, no, it's both federal and state laws require the manufacturer to supply a safety data.
Why, when you do the safety data sheet, when that person take that child or whoever drink that,
Yeah,
what
no,
do
me
you
too.
do? Seriously, what do you do?
You supposed to go read the data sheet, like what's on the what.
And you need to
chemicals
find
is
out how to do what? Like say for instance,
to sustain them. I guess I like they say dilute.
because they gonna ask you, the ambulance gonna ask you, what product did they drink?
Yeah. And if you gave him anything after he drank
Yeah.
the product, yeah.
So, seriously, you guys need to take this very seriously. This is very serious matter, especially when it comes down to chemicals. From the point you open your door to your barber shop, you must follow all the EPA guidelines, even from the draping of that client. When you're doing a chemical service, you need to make sure that they have on a chemical cape. Because if something fall on them, the way people are suing people these days, you're gonna be in trouble. So if you haven't read this chapter, you really need to go through it and read it efficiently. Because you may not do this today. You may not do it next year. But I promise you, you're gonna do it because you're gonna want that money. There's a lot of things in this industry I thought I wasn't gonna do. I wasn't interested in. But it's just the fact that I knew the basics to do it. Because once you get into your barbershop, it's gonna be things that they're doing is gonna interest you. But if you don't know the terminology and the things that you need to know in order to function, you ain't gonna understand what they're doing. Like the sulfide buds, what are they? That could be part of your written test. EPA. all those little small boxes you see in your book, I would advise you to read them. They're there for a purpose. Because sometimes they walk up to you and ask you a question. What is laminization? What is that? Anybody know? I'm waiting. I want you to look it up.
Oh, what was it?
It's in your chapter.
Laminization.
Laminization. Spell it.
LATHIONIZATION.
Lanthionization.
What is it?
Is
Lanthionization.
it sulfite?
That's the actual process when you're doing the permanent wave and you put on the perm solution, you go through that phase. It's actually breaking down the sulfide bonds to form it to the pearl. After that's done, then what bond is created? It should be right below it.
Is it peel relaxers?
No. Is it lanthanized bond? You see it?
Yeah, lanthon.
Spell it.
LANTHIONINE.
Bond. If you do not know what that means, you need to look it up and write that down. That could be a question on your test. What is the pH balance for normal hair?
4.5 to 5.5.
You need to remember that. What is a disulfide bond?
It's the structure of the hair.
What's a disulfide bond?
So keep the hair together and gives it its strength.
What's a disulfide?
That I know that's what is altered when using a chemical service.
What's a disulfide bond?
Structure of there.
What is a cuticle?
Outside layer of the
What's the inner layer of the hair?
Cortex and medulla.
Medulla is the,
Inside. Or like that's the
Bottom
part.
what's a medulla?
The center. of,
Do everybody have one?
Yeah, everyone has them.
No. And
Like that before, right?
what is a permanent wave?
You said a permanent wave?
Yeah.
Uh,
What is a permanent wave? If somebody walked in here this morning and said, I'm gonna give you $1 million,
whoa.
would you know the answer?
Yeah.
Answer what?
Any question they ask you about this chapter?
Right. Some. Copy.
What's lanthanization?
That's the
Yeah, I
process
guess
of
it's
putting on the
permanent
product
wave.
when
So
doing
lanthanization
like when
is the
you're
answer.
when you got the curl and
So
you're putting the
lanthanization
products in
is
it,
the answer.
that's what you're doing.
So what a permanent wave is?
The processing.
Process of a permanent wave.
Yeah.
And after the
That's
process,
what
then what does it do to the buns? It's called a bun?
A Lathian,
Lithionate.
Lathian, I don't know how to say the word. Don't have me sitting here trying.
What kind of, what's all you need to do a relaxer? What implements you need?
Comb.
Comb.
That's all you need?
No, the rods, you need
The
the
brush.
base to put
The
around the client head. You need,
neutralizer. You need the
base.
Yeah,
the
You need
actual
trail rod.
relaxer.
Relaxer, the comb. The cotton.
What type of
the
comb?
thingy.
Rat tail.
Rat tail.
For $1 million, what type of
I use
comb?
a rat tail. I
Use
use
a
a
rat
rat
tail.
tail.
So you can use the back of the comb
To straighten.
to straighten it.
What else you need?
What do we have so far?
So we
I
got
put the rods on there.
Y'all forgot about the gloves.
Oh, the gloves.
Gloves, the
Yeah.
base, the cone,
Chemical service,
Cape and
yeah,
cape,
drape.
yeah.
the base.
How do you perform a relaxer?
Like the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
So we chemical
What
drip.
kind of, how many hours you have?
Oh, you wow. Oh, you know.
How you do a chemical relaxer? That's
Make sure the area is sanitized first, huh?
But how you do a relaxer?
Gloves.
How you do a retouch?
You do just the new growth.
You wanna give a
How do
little
you do it?
consultation first, boss?
Will you stop talking to him?
This guy talks to me all the time.
Well, right now, let him think.
You take your section, and then you apply it with the little applying brush. Near the scalp, not like with some.
Be more
space in between.
specific.
Quarter inch from the
They may
scalp.
have a question on the test and say, how far do you apply a retouch?
Quarter inch from the scalp.
Be more specific so we can stick to your head. Then what?
You do that throughout everything. I don't know. What do you mean more specific? I'm open to learning more specific.
Application, you do above and below.
Oh, right.
You use your brush first. Then you go back and you use the comb, cause you're gonna
That's right.
actually have to do this, people. Everybody understand how to do a relaxer? What does the sodium hydroxide, what is the active agent in it?
Just see,
Sodium hydroxide.
Did you guys read the chapter?
Is it calcium hydroxide?
Did y'all read?
last time I gave 14, before I left.
Did y'all do me a favor?
Came back, gotta go back through the notes.
Did y'all do me a beautiful favor? Take time out, a portion of your day, and study a little bit.
Certain chapters.
Definitely this one. Cause that one is on your state board.
Yeah, that's chemical services. That's
How, when did I tell you about this chapter? When did I tell you guys you gonna,
Today.
how long you know about this, that we was gonna go over this
For a
chapter?
week from today.
What happened?
missed that day.
What happened? I'm waiting. What's the difference between a base and no base relaxer? Can you tell me that?
One is that African base, one of them is chemical base. One of them is natural.
What's the wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm